Hi guys, so what we got today? Well, a lovely piece of wood. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I absolutely love wood. I love working with it. I like building bird tables and goodness knows what else. Unfortunately, don't get much time to do it anymore. Hopefully that will change with a bit of luck at some point. So this is the Cort Passion, the Gold Series. Now then, when I went up to the guitar show in Birmingham back in March, and I met up with Tom from 440 Distribution, and he obviously saw me. I was eyeing this acoustic up that was on the stand, and he sort of put it in my hands. And obviously at these shows, you can't really hear what's going on. And, you know, I could play it, felt good, looked absolutely fantastic. But talking of the look of it, that's the thing, because this has got a street price of about £1,350, which is a lot of money. In the acoustic world, not so much, mind. But I was looking at it and I couldn't believe the depth of the finish and all this flame. Now at this price point, you can only really expect a veneer. Now I've got guitars with veneers on it. You know when they're veneers because you look closely and there's no depth to it, but there was to this. And I thought, well, why is that? So I looked inside and then it was pretty obvious. It's because it is actually solid flamed maple back and sides at £1,350, which it did shock me a bit. That if this was made by Taylor or Martin, and I've got a Taylor myself, great guitars, you'd be looking at 3, maybe 4 times that, all right? And you really would be. So to be honest with you, although it's a lot of money, you are getting a lot for it, that's for sure. And we'll run through the specs and see how it sounds. And let's have a look. So we'll start with the top down. So what we've got on the back, or back and front, obviously, is our vintage style open back tuners, which work perfectly as these style of tuner has for many, many years. The black buttons, I'm not sure if they're ebony, if I'm honest. I don't know. But, you know, they do their job. Absolutely great. So what we've got is we've got a bone nut as well. Bone nuts, always found on more premium guitars. Ebony fretboard, maple neck. Now then, this maple neck, if you're an electric player, say, and you don't really like playing a lot of acoustic because you just prefer that shape of neck, that more comfortable size, trust me, you will feel absolutely at home on this. I've been using this for about 6 weeks now, and literally it does feel like an electric neck. It really, really does. I found myself playing a lot of lead fills on here because I keep forgetting I've got an acoustic in my hand. So the fret ends, by the way, are absolutely immaculately finished, just like my G300 Raw. There is no problems with them whatsoever. Now, also what we have got on the side is some luminescent dots, which is great if you're on a darker stage, all right? Now the neck is unfinished, which is what I prefer. Some people prefer gloss finish. I prefer unfinished. It's so silky smooth. It's just great. It really is. The neck joint is what they call a double lock. Now, I have really, really looked through this and I cannot see any gaps whatsoever. None. I will do some close-ups of this. I just can't see anything. It's absolutely spot on. It really is. So, what's interesting is we got this little bevel cutaway here. And I have found myself really playing some lead fills up high when I normally wouldn't, because it's so comfortable to get up to those upper frets, all right? Now then, we've got an Engelmann spruce top. Now, this is what they call torrified. It's their way of aging it. Now, this does 2 things. One, it makes it look a little bit older, but also it kind of mellows the tone, all right? Now, that's what they say. Now, I'm not going to argue with them. I've had a lot of dealings with Cort. They've always been completely straight with me. I'm just going to take their word on word for it on that, unless I had two guitars exactly the same, one torrefied, one not. You're not really going to know the difference. All right. Obviously, we've got our lovely flame maple back and sides, and even when you look inside, the X bracing and some of that is actually flame maple as well. Crikey. It's absolutely incredible, if I'm honest. We're coming down to our bridge unit, which is ebony with ebony buttons. We've got a compensated saddle, all right, which really helps with the intonation. Now, you might find, and certainly on a lot of guitars, that the nut was never really put in the right place when guitars were first designed. And many people have come up with different ways of just a series of offsets to try and get things sound the intonation right. So, you know, on a lot of guitars, you'll play a C, sound great, a D, sound great, I'm playing A, and it'll sound a bit out. Well, this one doesn't. It sounds fantastic. So they've obviously compensated just right on that B string. All right. Now then, the electronics, what we've got is an LR Baggs Anthem system. So this does a few things, really. We've got like a blend switch here. It's like a 2 pickup system, one front, one back. When you're fully back, I will try and we'll see if this actually picks it up, but this is with it fully towards the bridge pickup. Then I'll point it towards the other way, which is like the front pickup. And then obviously you can blend yourself between the two. We've got a phase inverter switch again, which just change a little thing, just change it a little bit. And then obviously we've got our volume switch here as well. Now then, my personal opinion is I prefer these controls on the outside. Other people will prefer them inside. It's not a criticism whatsoever. It is just personal choice. It really is. I prefer them on the outside. Some people prefer them on the inside. You don't tend to change it too much. So it's not much of a pain. It's just what I kind of prefer, if I'm absolutely honest with you. So what does it sound like? Well, a lot of maple. So it's going to sound quite bright. Now, obviously, that will mellow out with years to come, as any guitar does. There are some people who say that, oh, the wood makes no difference. Oh, it does. It just does. I've got enough guitars and I've been playing 40 years. My ear's not too bad. I can tell you things definitely get a little bit more mellow with age. All right, so we got... But hopefully that's picking up. There's still quite a good bass response and a nice mid-range to it as well. And mid-range to me is very, very important. It's the one thing that kind of cuts through the mix, all right? A lot of people think you always got to have this massive volume boost for solos. No, just increase the mid-range and it will cut through, all right? Now then, this is what they call a modern concert style. I'm not actually sure what size my Taylor is, if I'm honest, but it's a lot bigger than this. And I prefer the smaller bodied acoustic, I really do. One of the reasons, it's just more comfortable for playing for long periods of time. Now, obviously, that's been, a lot of manufacturers are going over to these smaller body size now. Mainly because, I think one of the reasons is because people like Ed Sheeran have made them really popular. He's a great player. And maybe that's one of the reasons he plays those smaller bodies, because obviously he's doing a 2-hour gig. Last thing you want to be doing is being right out here with a big sort of guitar body size. So what else have we got? We've got the purfling around our binding. All right. Again, I just cannot feel anything. It's so smooth. It's absolutely immaculately finished. Now, I know Tom employs someone to look over the guitars before they're sent out. I wish everybody did. I really do. And it's, yeah, I cannot fault it. I genuinely cannot fault it. That's my absolute honest opinion. I promise you, I really do. And I will do, like I say, some close-ups of this absolutely fantastic flame maple. But yeah, it's just a great guitar. If you like guitars that look good as well as play good and sound good, and to be honest with you, I think I've got 4 acoustics now. This is by far the best playing one, and the one that I would always go for. There's no question about it. I've actually got an acoustic gig coming up, and I'm really looking forward to doing that, because I think that they say as well, with this sort of blend switch, it's going to help alleviate some of the feedback problems which I have had on gigs before. So there we go. Okay then, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Please check it out. I'm going, you know, and please, as I always say, don't buy from an online retailer. Please go and check these things out, you know, from your music store. It's so much nicer. You're not buying a washing machine. You're buying something that's, you know, you've got to know that it feels right. All right. And this one certainly does to me. That's for sure. Okay, guys. I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers. Bye.